Property. That is the threat tonight from Cobb County's district attorney as his office files a lawsuit against a hotel that's allegedly become a hotbed for criminal activity. Police say the Masters Inn is known for drug arrests and suspected sex trafficking and an assortment of criminal elements. The district attorney's office gave the hotel a list of security and other improvements that they need to make in order to stay open. The suit is first, one of its kind in the state of Georgia.
This may help explain why Cobb is taking such drastic action. Officials say 3,600 children are trafficked for sex in Georgia every year. This state has long been ranked as one of the worst states for child sex trafficking in America. Georgia just launched a new Stop Traffic campaign in light of January being Sex Trafficking Awareness Month. This comes, of course, just ahead of the Super Bowl to be hosted here in Atlanta. Large sporting events, are known to cause a spike in sex trafficking as people come in from all over the country, all over the world.
Well, the rain cleared a little bit today, and